for the ride home in ENC.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is your 5 o'clock drive with Patrick Johnson.
Holy mackerel!
More news, more interviews, more ECU stories than you can shake a stick at. Hey, stop shaking that stick. This is the Patrick Johnson Show.
Pirates win! Pirates win!
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, hope you had a great Christmas. Thanks for being with us. How about the Pirates, baby? End up winning in exciting fashion the bowl game against Pitt. How much fun was that? See if I can give myself a little more light here for the vast video audience. Not really, it doesn't appear. We'll get through it. Nice to have you along for the ride today. First of 3 live shows this week. Due to my schedule and travel and obligations on television tomorrow, Philip will dutifully host the program tomorrow. And we'll be back with a little thing we like to call P-Man's Rockin' New Year's Eve. 5 o'clock on Wednesday. That will follow ECU opening conference play in basketball against Tulane, which is scheduled for noon on the 31st. To my good friend Danny Rice out there, Kinston guy, very positive, glass half full individual. He wanted to hear what I had to say because he listened to our pregame show that Philip and I hosted, our Pirate Game Day Countdown, in which Philip, and myself went with our heads, proving that we are pretty dense in the head, going with Pitt. And I really thought Pitt would come in and win that game. I thought it'd be close, but I thought it'd be maybe a 2-score, 10-point kind of spread. And obviously I was rooting for East Carolina. I would never not root for ECU in that scenario. But Philip, when I look at it, it kind of boils down to one thing for me, and then, now have talking to a bunch of people in the aftermath of all of this. These guys in this program love playing for Blake Harrell, and they play hard for Blake Harrell. I don't think they would have played this hard for the previous head coach. Certainly, they never played this hard for Scotty Montgomery. They might have played hard for Ruffin McNeil, but they were out of control and had no defense. But, I mean, the defense played unbelievable. Lights out football on Saturday against Pitt. And, I say in many ways the win this year was more impressive than last year's win.
Yeah. I agree. I think last year's was more memorable because of the opponent, because of the run, but you were starting a young man who had thrown 7 collegiate passes. You had both coordinators gone. You had some assistant coaches already gone. You had other players gone. Last year was pretty much full roster. You had like 2 opt-outs. This year, the odds were stacked against you, and this Pitt team is better than that NC State team.
Sure.
They are.
Sure.
And back to your earlier point, Patrick, it proves once again the kind of human being that Blake Harrell is, that they will do this for him. It proves the kind of human being that he and his staff are, that they recruit young men who will do this, and it is a credit to each and every young man in that locker room and his parents or his perennial figures that he grew up with in his life to have him play the way they did and carry themselves the way they have through the entirety of this process.
It was certainly sad to see Jamarly Riddle get injured, and understand he was going forth with some surgery today. That was sort of the word around the campfire as of late Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. And look, that he's going to have opportunities, I'm sure, to go. I think the big thing about the Bowl, outside of how well they played, is you had no defensive opt-outs, any significant defensive opt-outs. Yeah, you had guys that maybe are planning on opting out or have opted out, but they played the game, and they played like they wanted to be there. And I do remember saying this on Saturday. It was a want-to game. Who wanted to be there? I didn't think Pitt rolled over. I think the idea that Pitt didn't play hard is foolish. Now, they may have taken East Carolina lightly or been disappointed with their lot, but they brought some folks. Wasn't like they were. It wasn't like the Birmingham Bowl a couple of years ago that was void of any of the opponent's fans.
Well, I will say this. I talked to Mark Miller, delusional Pitt fan,
Geez.
and he said that when he walked into the stadium, the atmosphere on the Pitt side and the atmosphere on the East Carolina side was night and day, and he felt like the East Carolina team fed off the fans really well. And even though the Pitt team played solid, he said they didn't have their energy on the sidelines and their energy in the warm-ups. And the fans, he said, they were kind of sitting around and everybody was just kind of like, dwee. So he said that was kind of not for them. It's like summertime for them, Patrick.
And I'll say this too. I mean, again, they could say all they want about Pitt does this, Pitt does that. Yeah, when they play Notre Dame at home. Yeah, when they play West Virginia at home. Yeah, they draw a fan. That's the other time they don't have a fan base that is devoted to the cause. And so I think a combination. And look, I maybe bought into it a little bit too. This was a Pitt team that had a pretty good year, that was in the mix for an ACC championship game berth, that had beat. Now, they had lost to some good teams, but they hung a lot of points on NC State. They had beaten some decent teams during the course of the year. And they'd played probably in the back half of the year, at least, a more challenging schedule than East Carolina had. But, you can't underestimate. There's one time where I have felt like I don't want to say gave up. We just didn't play. And that was UTSA. In the 19 games Blake Harrell was coach, that's the only one I can point to say that was uncharacteristic. Whether it was they came out flat, combination of not playing well and maybe, I don't want to say anybody gave up, but look at the UTSA game or the North Texas game last year. I mean, it was obvious then the players are never going to not play hard for Blake Harrell. There's not. At least right now they're not. And so here's my cry today. Let's get John Gilbert's extension taken care of, and then let's give Blake Harrell some kind of redone deal. Because you already starting to get the think pieces about Blake Harrell, the hot name for next year. And it is set up pretty well. Now, I had a friend of mine send me something today. I've not investigated it because I don't know if there's any validity to it. But, I mean, they're talking about the North Texas quarterback coming as verbal to ECU. I don't think he's going to make so much money to go to Oklahoma State or somewhere else. Now, that's the other part of this too, Pilk. Cheston Ditta. Amazing. Is he the quarterback of the future? Absolutely. Is the future next year? Could be. But you know what I think you ought to do? If you decide Ditta is going to be the guy you're going to go with, obviously you got to compensate him. Now, would you compensate him as much as you might Caton Hauser, given the offer that allegedly was made to Hauser to stay? Probably not, and nor should you. It's one performance. Do you need to go out and get another quarterback with experience? Absolutely. Should Ditta compete for the job? Yes. But then I would spend the rest of my money, or a good amount, getting a really solid offensive line, or a really good offensive line. Could you give Ditta an offensive line, and receivers are going to want to play for that guy. I mean, look at the game Anthony Smith had. Fantastic. Guys are going to want to play in this offense. And the new OC. I mean, all they did was put up, 600 yards, 49 points, North Texas, against San Diego State, who'd had a pretty good defense all year. I don't know the opt-out situation with San Diego State and its defense or any of that, but I just know on the season, statistically, that was a good defense. And they put up a ton of points. I'd love it if the guy came to Greenville. I don't think it's going to happen. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am on this one. Not going to happen. But, I will say this, Pilk. Guys will want to come and play here.
I think they will.
Guys will want to come play for Blake Harrell.
Some guys not named Mestamaker that are on that offense, Patrick, might want to come here. Not saying everybody, but there could be a handful of young men that are just part of the success, whether that be a hog molly up front or a skill guy on the outside. They would want to come here. And, the other thing, though, too, Patrick, that, I believe in what we're doing here on the defensive side of the football, but right now you started, I think, 10 seniors the other day. Right, so you're going to have on that defensive side of the football. So you are going to have to replace a lot of guys there. Now there's some young guys coming up. I mean, a lot of our twos were underclassmen, are very good. So we're going to have to invest some in the defense as well. But like you said, if you give Ditta time to throw the football, get him some guys that he can trust down the field, and bring in a guy to compete for the job with him. But I mean, look, here's the deal: if Bryce Young can start an NFL football game, Chasten Ditta can start an American Conference football game. I can tell you that because he's a hell of a lot better than Bryce Young.
I think that's very much the truth there. We'll let you vent that coming out. Also later in the show, Jim Szoke will join us. Right now, let's do the top 5.
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
Ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
One thing I was remiss in mentioning, there is no Inside Pirate Athletics, obviously, tonight. I shouldn't say obviously. There's no Inside Pirate Athletics tonight. That was one of the original scheduled off dates, the 22nd, the 29th, and that's kind of how they've historically done it. They've taken a 2-week break around the holiday period. Now, I will say this. I think had there been an Inside Pirate Athletics tonight, they probably would have had people lined up outside the door.
I think there will be next Monday.
Yes, I've got a ton of messages about that. So, unfortunately, no Inside Pirate Athletics tonight.
Number 1.
All right, top 5 at 5. What do you got, Pilk?
Number 1, Pirates go back-to-back in the Go Bowling Military Bowl with a 23-17 defeat over Pitt. Here's what Coach Blake Harrell had to say after the victory.
Wow, how about Pirate Nation just showing out tonight and packing the stadium, and the purple and gold looked good up there, and all the energy they brought just set us up from the get-go, set the tempo. We talked to our players about bringing energy, but tonight the Pirate Nation brought the energy, and our players just fed off that. And got off to a great start in the ball game, and they had the lead most of the game. They took the lead there in the fourth quarter, and our guys, the resilience they've shown, not just tonight, but all season long. Since October 20th, these guys, these young men could have turned it in and just said, we've had enough. But the way they thought about it, the way these seniors, the 2 guys sat beside me and took charge and really led this football team and getting us to a bowl game and get a bowl victory over NC State, just huge. And just so proud of them. Obviously, didn't like how, the last little bit of the game, no place in sports for that. But at the end of the day, we got to clean that up. But, just fired up to get a win, fired up for Pirate Nation, and so proud of these seniors.
Where was that cut from? That sounded like that was from last year's.
No, that was this year, I think. I got it off
Talked
the
about
hoisted
beating
coach.
NC State.
Did he? Dang it. I was hard to find. First off, they did no radio, and they did no. Let me see where I got that.
What was the point of taking what's his name up there if they weren't going to do post game?
Yeah, they didn't do. Well, they did the players, but they couldn't find Blake. So I went and found the first YouTube video I saw, and I saw Hoist the Colors, and I swear,
that was from last year.
Oopsies.
How about those friggin' Pirates?
Boy, it's
There we go.
stellar beginning to this whole thing here.
I'm
New
tired.
Year's resolution. Check your sources.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we've talked about it. Great win. Maybe have DeMarco pull a player or 2 for us or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Number 2.
We're number 2 right now for sure. That was a number 2 effort.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go to my downloads and see. Oh, yeah, that was. I'm sorry. Number 2. All right, here we go.
You're number 2.
I know. I might be worse than number 2. I think I just got fired. Dom's the number 2 guy now behind you, PJ. It's going to go you, Dom, I go in the top 3. All righty, here we go. Pirates coaching.
You've got that list totally wrong. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Pirates coaching carousel. Jordan Haskins has been named the new defensive coordinator. He comes to us from Memphis. Juan Soto, not the baseball player, despite that's what Joe thought, is the new wide receivers coach. He comes.
About that.
Yeah, he comes to us from North Texas, where he was the wide receivers coach, and he will replace Dyrell Roberts, who is on his way to Wake Forest. Rodney Freeman, the running backs coach, is on his way to Duke, and Jiron Waiters has entered the transfer portal.
congratulations. Who's our guy going to Duke again?
Rodney Freeman, the running backs coach.
Rodney Freeman. I thought he did a fantastic job. The offensive game plan was very, very solid. So congratulations to them on that. Also, thanks to, or congratulations are in order to your boy Roy Tesh, who also has been elevated to co-defensive coordinator.
That's right.
In those transactions for today.
That's right. I'm happy for him. Wish he would have got the job, but I'm happy for him.
Well, look, I think he had a hand in what went down, very much so. I think when we go back and look at it, and we were very consistent with this, I was not concerned about how the defense was going to play. I thought the defense would play well. Now, did I think that they would not give up more than 20 points? No, I didn't. But I thought, especially if ECU was going to win, the defense was going to play well. I think we were all just concerned about how the offense would look. And I do find it interesting that Mike Wright didn't play a whole lot of quarterback in the game.
Shows you what they think of Chasten Ditto.
And he rose to the occasion. I also think that Marlon Gunn was robbed. He could have been the game MVP. And I've gone back and watched that play maybe half a dozen times since Saturday. I don't hear a whistle. Now, I can't hear anything, but I don't hear a whistle at all.
So some other people have claimed they did hear a whistle. People who I know for a fact when they come into the studio, I don't have to turn their earpiece up as high. So it is people with better hearing than you.
How about those friggin' Pirates?
Oh, Lord, what am I doing there? I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that people can hear better than me. But
the thing was, PJ, mistakes get made. And if the mistake was made when he was being wrapped up and they said forward progress, or when he was near the sidelines, okay. It happened once he had already gotten the open field. Now, still, can mistakes be made? Yes. They're human. The issue is if you're an official and you have an inadvertent whistle, you don't just blow the whistle one time and then stop, allowing everyone else to continue. You blow it multiple times. You come in waving your arms to stop the clock because you do have to announce an inadvertent whistle and explain what the result of the play is going to be. So it is this clock stoppage. And you make sure everybody stops. You don't allow the guy to keep running, allow 5 dudes to keep chasing him, and allow everyone else on your officiating crew to continue officiating and the back judge to stand there and signal a touchdown.
Initially, I thought, okay, he stepped out.
Yeah, and which if he did, okay, he stepped out, right?
He stepped out, but that was, and then, I thought Blake obviously defended his team. Somebody was telling me that they were the other referee was trying to keep the referee from going at Blake. So maybe Blake said something Blake did say something to him. Now, what the extent of that, I don't know. But, and then to call a hold on the next play?
Yeah.
I don't care if there was a hold. You don't call it after screwing a team out of a legitimate touchdown.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not like the guy chasing him stopped and that guy heard the whistle.
Sure. Right.
No, he continued to chase him and continued to run slower.
Let's have DeMarco do number 3.
Number 3.
All righty, that was the voice of DeMarco, our awesome intern, who did a great job on the Festivus show, by the way, Patrick. I thought he was awesome on that.
A lot of reaction to the Festivus show. If you missed the Festivus show, go to the IBX Media app and check that out.
The number 3 is that Marcus Freeman has announced earlier today he will be returning to Notre Dame in 2026. Sorry, New York football giants, you don't get your guy.
Let's see here. Somebody sent me this. League sources confirms Marcus Freeman declined the Giants head coaching job after the NFL rejected his proposal for his team to set its own schedule and receive an automatic playoff berth each year. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good line, right? That's a pretty good tweet. That's a pretty good tweet.
There we
That's
go.
A pretty good tweet. Here's what if they're going to go to the college ranks, the guy to take the job is, unfortunately for them, and for me, because you know what a fan I am of the drama, is Belichick. That's the guy that if they're going to go to the college ranks, they should hire. If we're being honest, that's who the Jets should hire.
My only, I guess, issue with that is how many years does he legit have left? Because it takes a lot longer to build a program than it does the college program under the current landscape. Like, do you think he's going to just snap his fingers and like the Giants are going to be? Now they've got Jackson Dart, so they do have the quarterback. It would be a sexy destination for free agency. I think they're decent in cap, but still, like, you know, do you want a coach who's by default going to retire midway through your quarterback's tenure? I feel like if it was a team with an aging quarterback, an aging roster whose coach retired due to health reasons or something like that, it's maybe a different question. But you have a young roster. I think that'd be kind of weird.
I'm not saying it is the best idea. I'm just saying if you were going to do something out of the college ranks,
fair enough.
It is the idea that's the only one that I could see at this point taking it.
That's a good point.
At this point. Now,
got a decent resume.
Do you go if there's a college coach who I think you could contact, but he's not actively coaching? Nick Saban.
Ooh. Unless you're the Dolphins.
What's that?
Unless you're the Dolphins. You don't want Nick Saban.
Well, yeah.
The other 31 teams, Nick Saban.
Right. No. So it's obviously going to be a hotshot coordinator. Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. By the way, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, how great is that social media and that whole – and then Notre Dame, stuffy Notre Dame, who has not won a championship. Let's just call what's gone on in the last 30 years the modern era. Has not won a championship in the modern – when they last won a championship, I was 11. And it wasn't like it was part of a dynasty. It was that antiquated one-off kind of, AP vote system.
Yeah.
I mean, to be haughty, we're not going to go play in this bowl game. And that bowl game is just unbelievably magical. There was another great tweet on X where a Notre Dame person said, I'm so glad our coach would not subject himself to eating a Pop-Tart in the postgame, or would never do this on TV, referencing the BYU coach eating a Pop-Tart. And somebody replied to it, and it was a great reply. What does that beat a ranked team on national television?
That's awesome.
That is awesome, because that's Notre Dame. I mean, again, the whole thing, we're all the Pop-Tarts Bowl now. And I love the branding of they now are claiming to be the People's National Championship.
I love it.
So good.
I mean, you get out there, you tackle the mascot, and then you get to eat the mascot's like costume.
Yes.
Like you're eating the mascot. And then like the halftime show, I think instead of throwing footballs into like Dr. Pepper cans, they had like other Pop-Tarts, like chucking Pop-Tarts into these things. Right. It's fun for the kids. It's fun for everybody. You have a good football game, and everybody gets to eat Pop-Tarts. I mean, who's upset about getting to eat Pop-Tarts?
And one of the Pop-Tart mascots was grilling Pop-Tarts on the grill.
That's
like
awesome.
On a little grill that you'd have out back of your house when you were in college. That kind of, little charcoal. So good. So good. Notre Dame would have brought that whole situation down with their haughty, outdated. I always said this to my buddy Scott Inez, who was a Notre Dame fan. It looks like even now they play on black and white television. That's how the whole thing looks now. And it always has. Always. What number are we on?
I think 4.
4.
I think.
Number 4. For the first time ever, a player has gone from the NBA to college.
Jeez.
James Nagy, who played for FC Barcelona, was drafted by the Knicks, played some drafted by the Hornets, who he played for in the Summer League, was then traded to the Knicks, has not appeared in an actual NBA game, and has now been recruited to go play at Baylor with 5 years of college eligibility remaining. That's what the article said. Yes, 5.
Technically, he's not played in college.
Yeah, but he's played in the NBA. He played a whole preseason. I know why he's got eligibility left, because he played overseas. But like, you get drafted, and then just say, I want to go back to college. Like, come on, what are we doing?
It's not like he played in the NBA, Pilk. He played in the NBA preseason.
Yeah, but what's going to happen? A guy plays. Now are we just going to tell a guy who comes out after his freshman year at Duke, hey, you know what? You played in the summer league. You got bullied. You weren't big enough. You weren't ready. So now, because you didn't feel like you were ready, it's okay that you made a mistake. We'll let you go back to college. Good for you, little buddy. Like, where's the accountability in this? If you go to the NBA draft, you go to the NBA draft. Now, I have no problem with the guy who doesn't get drafted coming back, but once you play summer ball, like if you weren't big enough, fast enough, strong enough, well, you should have used your last how many ever years of eligibility. Like, that's the problem. Nobody in this country is held accountable for their actions. We got to hold everybody's hand. Everybody gets a second chance. Woohoo!
It's true. And that's what's happened here. The guy gets a chance. And look, he'll make better money playing at Baylor than he would kicking around the Gatorade League or whatever the hell they're calling it now.
Yeah, still, I'd rather live in Manhattan than Waco.
Well, you're probably right, but no state income taxes in Texas.
That is true.
5.
Alrighty, number 5, the Panthers will play on Saturday at 4:30 for a chance to win the division. If they win, they are the champs. If they lose, they're probably not the champs unless by some miracle the Falcons beat the Rams tonight and beat Tyler Szoke and the red-hot New Orleans Saints. Yes, they have won 5 of their last 8.
Saints thing's pretty interesting. What are they, 6-10 right now?
6-10, yeah. Not bad, not bad.
No, and Tennessee had been playing better, so it wasn't like they beat a total tomato can, although Tennessee's still pretty lousy. It really came down yesterday, Pilk, to those consecutive possessions, the fumble and the interception, which interception was horrible.
Yeah.
That was vintage bad Bryce yesterday on that interception. That was a terrible interception. Wasn't like the interception to start the Sunday night game, which just happened to be deflected and land in the hands of a linebacker.
Yeah,
for
that was
Chicago.
different.
I mean, that was different. That wasn't a funky bounce. This was just bad throw, bad decision-making. And yet they still got it to within a score. I mean, they still had a chance. What happened with Tampa's puzzling because they marched it down on the first drive of the game.
Yep, and then they took it on the chin after that.
And then, here's the other thing. What's going to happen in Miami? We've kind of touched on this. The guy's won just enough games maybe to stick around, right? We shouldn't.
Yeah, he shouldn't.
But you fired your GM, so that probably means it's over. And as you say, somebody will take him to call plays for him next year.
They will. But Patrick, one thing I do want to introduce or bring up, we're having a new segment on the show right now, my decision, called Name That Quarterback Who Threw for More Than 54 Yards in His Last Start, who's going to be a free agent come next Monday. Jimmy Garoppolo, Tyler Huntley, Phillip Rivers, Daniel Jones, who in his last start only threw 7 passes, but he still threw for 60 yards instead of 54, Aaron Rodgers, and Marcus Mariota. Also, you could trade for Mac Jones.
That was great. Aaron Rodgers.
Just saying.
Call back there. Well, look, again, Canales has done a fantastic job this year. He really has. They have shown some signs and have a semblance of they're doing, but that quarterback situation still whack, dog.
Phillip Rivers.
You couldn't do any worse. Hell, bring Cam back at this point.
Yeah.
Might
as well.
What would you do? I mean, what do you do if you're the Panthers? Seriously, what do you do if you're the Panthers?
Jimmy G, baby. Jimmy G. He's a free agent.
I think he'd be a better option.
He's been to a Super Bowl.
You got the old man in there now with Dalton. It seems like he's always hurt.
Yeah, let's see. How Jimmy G's not young, but he's not old either,
He's
right?
not old.
Let's see. He's 34. A little older than I thought.
He was.
Yeah, I was going to guess like 32, but why not?
So, I mean, but is he going to do does it help the Bryce Young situation by having him in there? Is he going to be the guy that mentors Bryce Young?
No, you get rid of Bryce Young and you bring in Jimmy G. Now this is
that much money. You want to eat that much money?
It's a rookie contract. It's like $10 million.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
But
bye-bye.
So
like David Spade and Saturday Night Live. Bye-bye.
The issue is you have given up so much for it. That's the issue.
You gave up a lot for Sam Darnold. You gave up a lot for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
Guess what? Sam Darnold kicked your rear end yesterday, and Baker Mayfield's going to kick your rear end Saturday.
Sam Darnold made a throw late in that game, and it was like, whoa.
It's a deep over route to JSN.
Yes.
Yeah, it was right in front of us.
That was like a hell of a throw. And it was like that. Bryce Young couldn't do that if it were just him and one other guy on the field.
That's what a pro quarterback looks like, baby. That's a franchise quarterback.
That's what a pro quarterback looks like. What an opening drive. We've kept the ball for 10 of the 15 minutes. Let us, theoretically speaking, let us hit a break. When we come back, Jim Szoke on Phillips Panthers and what's at stake Saturday. And we'll talk about the back-to-back Military Bowl champs, the ECU Pirates.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
Hey, doing a really hard work when you get a leak. Call a roofing contractor, and before they even look at it, they say you need a new roof. But you do, maybe it needs repair and lasts for a few more years. Whichever the case, Langley Contracting will give you an honest assessment, whether it's commercial or residential. Langley will get the job done. With their own employees and a collection of subcontractors, they know they have much better control over the quality of your roof. That's why you get a 25-year warranty. So whether it's roofing or gutter installation, call the professionals at Langley Contracting. Easy numbers to remember. 252-214-ROOF. That's 214-ROOF. Langley Contracting. 214-ROOF. That's Langley Contracting and Roofing. 252-214-ROOF.
Listen up. Here's talking now.
Sorry, thought we were vibing.
The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's fake. They'll tell the old people the North Texas quarterback is not committed to
He's not
ECU,
committed to
verbal or
ECU.
otherwise.
He's not.
There's...
No.
Come on, people.
He's not committed, and look, he is going to a Power 5 school. The worst landing spot for him is Oklahoma State. Any other option is like SEC or Big Ten.
Yeah. Yeah. Better be worried about Cheston Ditta.
Maybe the Panthers will sign him.
Coming up tonight, it is the penultimate edition of Panther Talk. 7 o'clock. Again, no Inside Pirate Athletics tonight. Also happening on this particular station Saturday. Bill, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Because of Duke basketball on 103.7, the Panthers will shift the game at Tampa, which is at 4:30. It'll be a 3:30 beginning with the pregame here on 94.3 The Game.
That is true.
That right, Bill?
You've got that on, and they tried to make me work it, and I offered Dom a nice package to not make me work that game because I would much rather be sitting in front of my TV mad about the Panthers losing than sitting at work mad about it.
I thought that was a little unfair to you to say we're going to have you do this. So you got Dom on the case. Okay.
Yes, and a case is what he is receiving as well as some dinner.
I see. Is Dom old enough for said things?
Yeah, Dom's like
Dom?
He's like 24. Yeah.
Oh, is he that old? He looks
He's
like
in
a
grad
young
school.
Howard Stern in Private Parts. I've always said that. It looks like young Howard Stern in Private Parts. Jim Szoke called the Military Bowl game. Also was on hand yesterday for the game. Was it raining or was it just like this fog yesterday, Jim, that was so thick that it made everything dreary and slick in Charlotte? Because I kept looking at the radar and there was no precip that I could see on the countless apps.
It was just Seattle brought a machine in that just blew a mist that blew over the stadium yesterday from their homeland. It didn't like rain, but there were times, especially early on, where it was drizzle and mist. But yeah, never a downpour of any kind.
Yeah, midway through the second quarter, it did get to a full drizzle for about 5 minutes. But
I could have asked Pilk this. Did you see?
He was in a box, man. What does he know? He's got the AC and the heat and the free beverages, man. I'm down there hanging out with the common folk.
As if Philip's never been in a press box before.
Jim was all bundled up Saturday. Jim, you got some national FaceTime at various junctures Saturday.
I think the Pittsburgh coach was trying to steal our plays and realized I didn't have them.
Well, let's go in sequential order here. So we'll start obviously with the Military Bowl. I certainly think it was a case where ECU they just played harder. I don't know if they out-schemed them. I think Ditta was fantastic, but on defense, ECU just played with their hair on fire. And to me, that's as big a difference in this thing as anything. And when the Marlin gun run was waved off, and then you had the holding, which, again, you don't throw that there. After you just screwed up, you can't throw that there. I know Blake was fired up, but, he has been a real calm of this program in now the 19 games that he has taken over and just kind of stays level and stays to the mission, and the guys respond. And, I just, as an alum, couldn't be any prouder of the way they played. They were fantastic the other day, and defensively were quite amazing.
Now, with that inadvertent whistle, Blake had every right to go berserk if he wanted to, but as a head coach, he realizes then everybody else will, then who will calm everybody back down. And it was like the perfect storm of awfulness with the inadvertent whistle, holding, sack, fumble, touchdown. It's like, is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing? So, you're right. I haven't said when they threw the holding flag, the audacity to throw a penalty. We should be allowed to do whatever we want the rest of this drive. We should be able to pin them to the ground, punch them in the face, just whatever we want the rest of the way down the field. But they did the exact opposite. I guess it was the Big 12 officiating crew with Luke Richmond. But that was a great with all the adversity heading into the game, with all the personnel and coaching changes, they have to also in game overcome that adversity. Just speaks well to Blake and the coaching staff and the players to be able to do that and knock off another Power 4 team from the ACC.
We mentioned Ditta. How impressed were you with him?
I think, like by the eyeball test, he looked great. I mean, it's just like, I think, you obviously have to pare it down and limit it, and you don't have the usual play caller situation there. But, I mean, the throws he made to Anthony Smith, I mean, those looked like what they did all season long, and they were perfectly thrown on the big ones that got touchdowns, the 2 long touchdown ones, and that's what mattered is, they hit the home run ball when they had to. And I think, there was a lot of game planning to not lose the game. So the fact that he didn't throw an interception, the 2 touchdowns there, I mean, that's what you want. You just don't want to be in a situation where it's challenging. And, of course, the sack fumble thing happens right after the inadvertent whistle. So that was really the only bad play on his part, is not being maybe to have all that awareness. But, again, considering the number of in-game reps he has had as a freshman, I thought he showed really well against a team that's again from the Power 4. So they were fairly fully loaded. They were missing one of their linebackers and some depth pieces, but that was pretty much the Pitt Panthers he played against.
And the other thing, Jim, yes, there was the strip sack fumble that led to the score. And again, as you most beautifully articulated there, it was the capper to what was it could have been a disastrous situation for ECU and really changed the game. Pirates didn't let it do that. The other part of that I thought was really interesting, Jim, was the 5 turnovers ECU got. And they were really ball hawking. And I just think back to different times during the year. There would be some dropped interceptions. There would be some occurrences where it seemed like ECU should have more takeaways. And I think some of that kind of came to fruition on Saturday.
Yeah, and the big one obviously was in the fourth quarter with KJ Merrill, and then he returns it 70 yards. And those are the game changers like that. I mean, it's a one-possession game, and that really let them to get it to the 2 possessions with the field goal on the other end after that interception return. Things like that just completely changed the game. And there were other ones along the way that they didn't cash in and as well on early on, like the Lampley fumble recovery early, like in the first quarter. But that was huge. And you're right, 5 takeaways, 4 quarterback sacks, and they harassed Mason Heinschel right to the final second of the game where he's like, he's got the ball, there's 11 seconds to go, he should be able to run 2 plays, and they chase him around so much there's no time left, and then he crosses the line of scrimmage, so he can't throw. So it was a perfect ending for the way that defense played throughout the afternoon.
So in this transactional world of college athletics now, is there such a thing as momentum going into next year? I think there is, from the standpoint of ECU, in that you have your head coach. You do have some new pieces to the coaching staff, but I think they are good pieces and good hires. And interesting that your co-defensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator, however you want to term him, came from Memphis, who's been a top team in the league for a number of years. And you've got an offensive coordinator that came from a team that made the conference championship game this year. So wasn't calling the plays, as we know, but obviously neither was JDB when he moved to Greenville a couple of years ago. But the guy called the plays in the New Mexico Bowl, which was a pretty fantastic. And so I think from the standpoint, what the game the other day, I don't think had the Pirates lost, it would have stymied the momentum going into next year, might have stunted it a hair. But I just think now, much like last year, I think there will be a lot of moment. The way ECU ended it with the Memphis game and kind of the environment there, it's going to be fashionable and cool again for people to get tickets and go to the games. And I think it'll be something that those that contribute to things like rev share and NIL will be excited to do, because we already have a pretty good war chest, is my understanding, but I can see that maybe getting some enhanced dollars out of this. So, again, if there's anything for momentum in today's game, outside of winning a national championship, it would seem like ECU has some of those wins to their back right now.
No, I mean, you could sell 9-4, and you've won back-to-back bowl games against ACC schools. And I think it's the other thing you mentioned is the 2 coordinator hires, the brand of football being played with Jordan Davis coming in from North Texas and Jordan Hankins from Memphis. You're going to have another high-flying offense, just like you had coming through this entire season, and then an aggressive defense with Coach Roy Tesh staying on board and coordinating it. And they did such a great job with Blake Harrell getting ready for this bowl game that you've got a lot of continuity there. So you've got pieces there where it's like, this is how we play ball. And both, whether you're an offensive or defensive recruit or transfer portal kid, who wouldn't want to play in those kind of systems for the most part? So it is, and as you said, they're armed. They've been talking about having the ability to go into the portal and spend money at quarterback and other positions there too. So, up till now, it's like because of where we were on the calendar, we haven't reached January 2nd. All it was who was leaving. And we're a couple of days away from seeing who's coming back. I think everyone feels better now knowing what the two coordinators are after just having departure news only up to that point. So I think once people see which players are coming in, that's going to get people juiced and excited to go with the ones who are returning from this past season.
I think we've got to go out and get a quarterback with some experience. But, I have no problem with Ditta certainly being in the mix. What about you?
Yeah, I think in today's world, too, you're always an injury away anyway. So, yeah, you've got one young guy, and then you've got the ability to go in the portal and maybe get like an upperclassman that's played for a couple of years and got plenty of reps in game. And that's the combination you probably want. Even if Chaston did at some point, if they have a competition, then let that play out during the off season as far as that goes. But it's great knowing that you've got a kid that was able to come in and perform the way that he did. But it doesn't stop you from going into the portal, and it shouldn't stop you, I should say, from going out there and still doing what you plan to do all along, which is trying to bring in somebody. As they did back in the day, people don't forget, but think less about the fact that Jake Garcia came in and won the starting job over the guy that just left, Caden Hauser, and played half a season. So you let those competitions play out, and eventually things will sort themselves out.
All right, Jim, a quick word on the game yesterday and obviously the upcoming game against Tampa. There are a lot of different scenarios in which Carolina, involving Atlanta, running the table for the final 2 weeks, could maybe find their way in with the tiebreakers. But, I think essentially if you're Carolina, where all the expectations were coming in, and, yes, there's disappointment in how things went down yesterday. I really think the back-to-back possessions with turnovers made it fait accompli. But you're playing for a chance to go to the playoffs in the final week of the regular season, in Week 18. I don't think you can really scoff at that too much if you're the Panthers or if you're a Carolina fan like Pilkington is.
No, in the preseason, Philip or anybody else would have taken 8-8 with a chance to go to the playoffs in the last week of the regular season. And so that's in itself a great accomplishment to this point. But when you get this close, obviously you want to finish the job and do that. The number one thing I can say about what happened yesterday is you played a team that was 13-3, and they're fighting for the number one seed.
Yeah.
And the Panthers are not of that count, that's out of their weight class. And, yeah, they've had some wins this year against the Rams and the Packers and so forth, but you're not going to win all those games. And it was a 3-3 game early in the third quarter to those turnovers you talked about, two short fields at 17-3, and they just couldn't get anything going offensively there. Tampa Bay's been struggling. They've lost 7 out of 8. Obviously, they're a big challenge. A lot of those losses have been really close, 3-point games for Tampa Bay. And obviously, they're angry about losing here, and their season is on the line with Baker Mayfield, so you got to go to their place and try to beat them again, which is not easy. But they're not Seattle either. I think they're a team that, again, when you've lost 7 out of 8, there's things that aren't working for you, especially with their offensive line. So, hey, it's just fun to be in this situation. And if the Panthers can get this last one, they get rewarded with a division championship and a home game in the playoffs. And if they don't, they go 8-9, and hope the Atlanta Falcons bail us out tonight and next Sunday against the Saints.
Are you going to Tampa, or will you be back in the Queen City?
Yep.
What's your assignment?
I'll be there, and so we'll head down Friday. Good. It's a Saturday game, of course. So awesome. Get down there and looking forward to being on the call with Luke Kuechly and Anish. So it'll be fun, and that game matters. Obviously, it's one of the biggest games we've had in like the last 7 years. So it'll be fun to be a part of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, Jim, have a happy new year. Enjoy your time down in Tampa. We'll link up with you next Monday and get the postmortem on the season.
Sounds good. Thanks, Patrick.
Dang, you're speaking a loss into existence, Patrick. Postmortem on the season. What the hell happens if they win?
Well, I was going to say, I just thought that, or the preview, or the preview of the playoffs. How about that?
Yeah, if Philip had not interrupted you, he would have said that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I also predicted the military bowl game wrong as well. So, I'm just don't go with what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a reverse jinx. Let him go, Philip. Let him go that way.
All right, you're right.
He'll help out.
All right, We'll come back, wrap up today's show. Thank you, Jim. Take care, buddy. The great Jim Szoke. You'll hear more from him coming up 7 o'clock tonight. Panther Talk right here on 94.3 The Game. We're taking a break. We're coming back, and we are getting you ready for the rest of the week.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
At Parker's Barbecue, our family has been serving your family for 3 generations.
For that, we say thank you. Blessing families every Thursday. Kids eat free all day. That's the Parker's way.
Legendary food served from our 3 locations. Always quick, always delicious. That's the Parker's way.
At Parker's, our mission is to impact our customers through Christ-like service in a way that feeds them both physically and spiritually. That is the Parker's way.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Cave, tiny home, or greenhouse? If so, East Carolina Outdoor Products is your one-stop shop. East Carolina Outdoor Products has just opened 2 locations in Greenville, on Memorial Drive across from Ron Ayers and on Greenville Boulevard across from AccuLink. East Carolina Outdoor Products also custom builds right in your lot. East Carolina Outdoor Products is the only company in Eastern North Carolina that manufactures, delivers, and sells outdoor storage buildings and their pirates. 10 locations in Eastern North Carolina.
Remember the days when you could go to your favorite butcher shop and get your pork chops or steaks cut just the way you like them? Well, you still can. Acre Station Meat Farm on Highway 32 in Pinetown, north of Washington, is Eastern Carolina's traditional butcher shop. Acre Station is where you can get your order cut the way you want it. The best sausage, bacon, and pork chops and steaks you'll ever taste. The short trip to Acre Station is worth the drive.
At Acre Station, you just get that good, friendly service you just can't find anymore.
I guarantee it's the best sausage and bacon you'll ever eat.
And now, the stunning conclusion. Why is everyone screaming? On 94.3 The Game.
Thanks to Jim Szoke for being with us. Great to have him on. We'll have Jim to preview the postseason next week. How about that, Bill? Do you like that better?
I like it better. I'll be the pessimistic one.
You better root for the Dirty Birds tonight.
I know. There's 2 paths to the playoffs. It's interesting how that works. It's going to be weird to pull for the Dirty Birds yet again. I do not think they beat Matt Stafford and the Rams, but hey, stranger things have happened.
Because the Rams are obviously playing right now for a chance to be the number 1 overall, so that's...
No, they got eliminated from that yesterday, now that Seattle...
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, so if there was a combination where if Seattle and the 49ers lose next week, but the problem is Seattle and the 49ers play each other, so that's why the Rams are... Yeah.
I got you.
But, man, those Seahawks fans... That's all they were talking about. They're like, dude, we cannot go to L.A. We're going to lose. Like, Seahawks fans were really nice yesterday. They were cool. But, yeah, they were like, man, we got to win this game so we don't have to go to L.A. in the playoffs.
I would not I don't think I would I wouldn't count the Falcons out. But, I would say this. I think it's how motivated the Falcons are at this point.
Kirk Cousins had
looking for his job?
I think so. I think so.
I think so, too. All right, Philip will be in tomorrow. I've got television, and we'll be back with P-Man's Rockin' New Year's Eve on Wednesday after basketball.